Hello, welcome to the Wasting Time podcast. We are up to episode 59. I'm one of your hosts, Chris. I'm here with Nick. Hello, Nick.
Good evening, Chris. How are we doing?
Doing good. How's things with you?
Not bad. Creeping closer to restrictions being lifted this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm going for a beer on a bench.
Oh, lovely.
With a friend. So I'm looking forward to that. But the issue with I find the issue with it at the moment is I can't tell my other friends that I'm going for a beer with that friend. Because it's kind of like breaking out some sort of favoritism, isn't it? So yeah.
So I have to hope the others don't listen to this. So you picked out your number one choice, and
well,
they'll realise that they're not that.
It'll be the first of many, I'm sure.
Yeah, of course. So,
yeah.
Hopefully brighter times ahead for sure.
Definitely. Anything going on music-wise?
I'm not sure if I've listened to that much new stuff that's grabbed my attention. There's been a few, the odd thing here and there. Like thing I've enjoyed the most recently was something I assume was produced by John Feldman. It's on his label, Big Noise, but that's that actor Tyler Posey, I know John's been doing a lot of his music, but he's got a new song with Travis Barker. Pretty solid pop punk song. I think you enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, it was good. I did enjoy it. Be interesting to know a bit about his history. Obviously, he was Teen Wolf on MTV for a while. I don't know how many seasons of that he did, but be interesting to know if he's got a history or background in the genre, or is he a big fan, or is it kind of a new thing?
Yeah, well,
much?
A little bit. I know Feldman has. Yeah, they're called Five North. His band is called Five North, and he's done some stuff with John Feldman. It's very sort of in that sort of make out the early 5 Seconds of Summer kind of sound. But yeah, looks like he's doing some stuff just under his own name. But I like this better than that previous stuff. Cool. That's about all I know, though.
Cool.
But that's it, yeah. Anything else, or should we just kind of move into today's interview, which was
I
a
think
fun one?
Yeah, I think we should, put the spotlight on the Lovebreakers, who are our guests.
Definitely.
On this episode. I say upcoming band. They're quite a new band, but kind of just waiting to put themselves on the map when I guess the live scene opens again. I think they've come up with they've released some really, really strong tracks. Got a full length due out in April.
Yeah. Wiretap Records.
Released 3 songs from there, so you can listen to them now on all the usual platforms, along with some of their older kind of bits and bobs, and a couple of 2 or 3 covers, something like Chris.
Yeah, and they've got a big single called Family Man, which we've talked about a few times on this podcast, so that probably will sound familiar to a lot of our listeners. A new single coming out called Laura at the time of recording, a week from now, and as you say, this is all from their debut full length.
What I did discover earlier, on their website, they have an audio track that plays on their kind of homepage, and it's got a couple more snippets from another track, another couple of tracks, and there's a snippet from Primary Colours on there. I don't know if you've heard it. It's
what? Is that the title track of the album? Presumably, is it?
Yeah, the title track of the album.
No.
You'll really like it. It'll be right.
Oh, I'm going to listen to that straight away after we finish this intro.
Yeah. But yeah, you can, I guess, you pre-order their vinyl now on the Wiretap Records site, or from All In Vinyl.
Yeah.
And yeah,
you've ordered your copy of the
I've ordered my copy.
Vinyl.
Yeah, looking forward to that. And they're obviously due to go on tour with Social Distortion, but we'll wait and see what the dates look like on that. But
yeah, really hoping that happens. Currently scheduled for July over here. As I say in this chat to them, I've got my ticket for the Shepherd's Bush show, so I'm hoping that happens.
But yeah, go check them out, because I guess we both think they're really, gonna blow up. When the time is right and when the time comes. So, yeah, here it is.
Yeah, so today we are joined with one half of Lovebreakers. We've got Jack and Christian with us. So just want to say massive thanks to you both for giving us some time.
Man.
It's really cool to see you.
It's a pleasure to be involved. So thanks for asking us on, man.
Yeah.
It's usually a three-way thing, this, so it's nice to... have we done a four-way before?
We have. Never with video, I think, but
it's definitely on the bucket list.
Yeah. Oh, mate, I'll tick that off when I was 18, man.
Okay, cool. Well, I guess we just wanted to maybe kick off right at the start in terms of Lovebreakers, in terms of, I guess, how you got together, how you got to know each other, and where it all started. I guess really good place to start. I don't know if one of you guys wants to take us through that.
I basically used to play in a band, and we shared the stage a few times with Jack's old band. So I was in a band called Sharks, Jack was in a band called the Razorbacks, and I always, whenever we played shows with the Razorbacks, I was like, that guy in the Razorbacks, Jack, the second guitarist, he's cool, man. He can play and he can sing as well. So when that band sort of come to an end, I was playing a bit of music with a guy called Marcus, our drummer. And we were like, we really need a singer because obviously I play bass. And I was like, well, I know this guy Jack from the Black Country, and I know he can play guitar and I know he can sing. Like I've seen him do harmonies and stuff. So how about I ask him? So I got in touch with Jack and we sort of just liaised back and forth. Eventually, the three of us met up and it just sort of went from there. What year was that, Jack? Like 2017, was that?
Yeah, it's like 2017, because I sort of had a little bit of a break from music, to be fair. I had about a couple of years off. And I don't know why, it was just like life got in the way, and, you know, it's like you look for jobs and sort of get involved in that. And then I started just writing songs again at home, and I was looking for a band. I was like jamming with a couple of like local lads who I've known for years. And then I actually messaged Christian to come and jam with us. So I was like, we need a bass player, like come and play with us. And he was like, well, I've got a really good drummer. Do you want to come with us first?
Right.
And have a jam with us. So I went there first, and then that was it. I was just like, yeah, we've got to do something with this, because we sort of, I know it's like cliche, but we just all got on really well, and just sort of, you know, we was having like a good laugh and stuff with it, and it was something that wasn't like that serious at the start, but we knew we had something going on. Like we all had like similar interests in music and that kind of stuff, and then. Yeah, we just we was a three-piece for quite a long time, actually, for about 6 months, Christian.
Yeah, so basically what it was we're a three-piece, and obviously with the sort of music we all grew up listening to, there's always that extra element of like a lead guitarist, and we sounded great anyway as a three-piece, but I think just like having like a counter melody alongside Jack's melodies from a guitar player would be really beneficial. And the story how we got Chino involved, our lead guitarist, is quite funny. My mum and his mum are really good friends, and I remember I went over to his house with my mum to drop off our dog, because they were dog sitting our dog, and I saw like these really cool guitar amps. I've never been there before. So these really cool guitar amps and these cool Gibson guitars in the window downstairs, and I was like, Mum, whose are those? And she was like, oh, yeah, Lisa's got a son called David. He plays guitar. And I walked to the house, and there he was, and he looked cool, and like he had all this sick gear. I was like, yo, David, like you should come like play in a band with like me and my boys, man. And it just sort of went from there, and we got him involved, and it made a massive difference having like a second guitarist as opposed to just being like a three-piece. Do you know what I mean? I think it really helps.
Yeah, of course, definitely adds that extra layer.
Yeah, man.
It's funny. I was after we did our last show, and I was catching up with a mate, and you know he's obviously asking who we got next. I was like, oh, this lot from Birmingham, Lovebreakers, and he was just like, oh, that's not the same band as the fella from Sharks who started a band called Love Bites. And I was like, I think it is. So it was originally called Love Bites, right?
Yeah, we had it was called Love Bites, and then we set up ourselves like for the Spotify and iTunes and that, and putting our own music out like as a DIY band does. And we was like crossing over with this other band called Love Bites, and we didn't even know who they were, but they were they're like an Asian female metal band. And it's completely different to what we're doing. And yeah, it was like crossing over, and like we was getting like emails from like Download Festival saying with like time slots and stuff, and we was like, it's not us, man. It's like you've got the wrong band. And we just sat down, didn't we, and just thought we can't have this moving forward. And then we just we wanted to keep, an element of the name. And then one of our like big influences is Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. So we just moulded the two and became Lovebreakers, and that was the story of that.
When we went to do the record, we were still Love Bites, and that was 2019. When we flew out to LA to do the record, it was Love Bites still then, and but massive influence on the record is Tom Petty, and like Jack said, we started having these problems. We were even getting like horrible comments from Love Bites fans, from the Japanese band's fans, like saying, "You guys aren't the real Love Bites, you guys suck," and all this. So we were like, you know what? Who cares? Let's just change the name and like Lovebreakers. Like, it's sort of a bit of a nod to Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, because it's almost like it could have been like Jack Perry and the Lovebreakers. Really, thinking about it now, but Lovebreakers is cooler.
yeah, man.
Just real quick on Tom Petty, that just want to say that's a nice cover you guys have of Tom Petty out there.
Yeah, nice one, man. We I think we recorded that. It was not last year, the year before. It was around Christmas time, because we sort of It always slows down a little bit for us around Christmas time. Like we do a lot of shows in the winter, but we always have sort of about 3 or 4 weeks to like sort of like jam new stuff or record a cover, and it was just something that it was just done on a whim. Really, I just text Christian on one of the weekends and said like, "Oh, I really fancy just doing this cover, just getting in with our friend Paul, who does like recording and stuff." And it was just like literally, I think we thought about doing it on the Friday night, and then we recorded it on the Saturday and mixed it on the Sunday, and it was out. It was just really quick and just really fun as well, because it was obviously it's like an acoustic track, but there's loads of little like bits with like slide guitar and stuff that Chino does, and it was really nice. So I'm glad we did it. Did a good job.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I was just going to say, kind of outside of Tom Petty, I mean, you mentioned you were listening to the same kind of stuff growing up. What kind of stuff was that?
I personally, so the band that sort of changed everything for me was Green Day. I heard Dookie and it changed everything. From there, it sort of opened the doors to like Social Distortion, The Clash, The Replacements, and then on from that, bands like Against Me, The Hold Steady. But I also really like bands like The Vaccines and Catfish and the Bottlemen, like the sort of newer India stuff as well. But we're really into like what's great about this is like everyone's bought their own sort of thing. Like Jack, you go from here, Max. You've got your own thing.
Yeah, like I sort of grew up on like Motown and like pop songs, basically, that like my mum and dad used to always play around the house. But I just knew it was like real. It just everything that was sort of singing about. It was like what they were living, sort of thing. And then like sort of similar to everyone my age, when Tony Hawk's 2 come out, the soundtrack was incredible, and like. And Dave Mirror as well, like that game, like video games, and having like skating videos, because I was always into like skateboarding as well. So like bands like Rancid, Social Distortion, and like that just took me in like a rabbit hole of bands like Mill and Colin. I used to listen to them loads as well, and I still do. And that was sort of like what got me into like the punk sort of stuff. And then being British, I just sort of went into it a little bit more and found like the Clash and the Jam and the Who. And just sort of that sort of like timeless rock and roll I love. And I think it's the same with sort of like Chino and Marcus, like they're sort of into like the Rolling Stones and sort of bands like that. But I'm the same as like Christian, really. Like I love just sort of new stuff that's like timeless as well. Like I think Catfish and the Bottlemen and the Vaccines and sort of bands like that, what they're doing now, I think will still be sort of listenable in about 10, 20 years time. Whereas I think a lot of the pop stuff and popular, it's more like just drab. But that's just my opinion. Obviously music's an opinion, but yeah, man.
So like by the time you kind of became a 4-piece, did you, I mean, obviously you were both in, reasonably successful bands already, so you had your connections and stuff. Did you get like playing decent shows relatively quickly?
It's been difficult, really, to be honest, for us. It hasn't, because I find like the music industry is really, a lot of it's about cronyism, and like it's all about who you know. Unfortunately, like you can be like a really awful band, and there's so many of them without sounding horrible, but there is, and
it's so true.
And if for some reason they've got like a mate who works at a booking agency firm or whatever, and then all of a sudden they're touring with like, you know, some really cool bands. We got the Social Distortion tour basically, and I'm being totally honest here as well. We recorded the record, and we knew Social D were going to tour, and we said to Davey, who produced that record, just send Mike Ness our record, and he sent it him, and he loved it. And obviously we'd not long done Wildflowers as well. We'd done a cover of Wildflowers around the winter time. We sent that as well, and we just got an offer come in really randomly, like in an email. Yeah, just like, do you guys want to open for Social Distortion? And we were like, well, yeah, obviously, like, but that'll be our first tour, really. Like, we haven't had offers, man.
Yeah, it'll be our first like European tour. Like we've inquired so many and tried to knock on so many doors to try and get on like UK stuff.
What kind of venues are Social D doing?
So the Social D stuff, it's all like I'd say 2,000 to 4,000 cap venues.
Yeah, like I've got a ticket for your Shepherd's Bush show, you know, which touch wood will happen in July. Obviously, it was supposed to be last summer. No, and that's a huge deal. Actually, Christian, were you in Sharks when they toured with Social D in America?
Yeah, to be fair, yeah. So like, I guess maybe that sort of helped a little bit, because I think Davey did say, well, I'm guessing he did. Yeah. Obviously, you know Christian already from 2011 when we did the US tour with Sharks and Social Distortion. But yeah, like in terms of the UK, like I think that music in the UK at the minute, especially rock and roll music or like punk or whatever you want to call it, I think it's really hard to sort of break down the doors and get on those tours unless you're best friends with someone. And like, we don't have a booking agent. I'd love us to have a booking agent because it just opens up a whole new world for you. But we've had nothing, man. No one cares in England at all. But I feel like
I think like the break would have been obviously when the original dates for the Social D tour was, not last year but the year before now. So I think. I think it would have been last year. No, sorry, it was last summer. But I think that would have really sort of set us in good stead to get on some other stuff, you know what I mean? And hopefully, have our own headline tour by now, like just doing like some smaller stuff. But like, but yeah, it's like anyone else. You need that sort of lucky break, and just to know that one person just to wiggle you in. And I think if you're good enough, you'll go for it, sort of thing. But yeah, we're still.
I guess it'd be interesting to see how that world changes, and that how the touring and bookings will change after the last year. And is there going to be more of an appetite for live shows more than ever for a very long time? That it's gonna really help, I guess, the likes of you and other bands, I guess, really coming up.
I hope so. I think everyone's itching to get to some live shows, to be honest, and I'm hoping that like people want to see bands again, and like just a good, decent rock and roll band. You know what I mean? Just two guitars, one bass, drums, and just smashing it out and just being really good at your craft. And as Christian's saying, I think like the UK scene, it's really sort of, it's like flavour of the month. It's like, I don't know. I don't think the UK supports artists as much as like Europe and America. Like if you did shows there, it's much more sort of a togetherness and a like gangs of people going out. Whereas you go to even like shows that I've been to, it's sort of like people just standing there with like hands by the side and not just sort of letting loose. You know what I mean? And I think the pandemic might have helped that, and I think people might just go out and be a little bit more sort of open minded and let loose a little bit more.
What's the local Birmingham scene like?
To be honest, it's like Jack was saying. I think there's a bit of a snobbery in the UK as a whole, but Birmingham, I don't know, man. It's weird. We've got like a few of our friends' bands that we sort of do shows with, but I wouldn't say there's much of a scene really. Not like there used to be. Like, I feel like back, maybe it's just nostalgia, but I remember when I first met Jack when I was a lot younger, I felt like there was loads going on back then. Maybe it's down to like the closure of venues or just like the new digital age that it isn't as sort of roaring as it used to be.
Is that how where you mentioned like the slightly older scene? Is that how you like got to know Davey and ended up going to do a record with him? Is it from like being in the Birmingham scene together? And
Yeah, I've known Davey for a really long time, and that's sort of how the talk of the record came about. Sort of knew him from when he was in Beat Union, when they were doing well in like 2007, 8. They were like supporting everyone. You'd go and see a band, and they'd be supporting. And and then in my old band, when we were in America, we stayed with him for a little bit, and then. It just seemed like the perfect fit for the record because Davey's obviously a local boy, and like obviously we loved Beat Union, we loved Davey, so it was just we knew it was going to be a good experience. And I think like being in California, the sunshine, the palm trees, and you're doing a record with not only is he a friend, like we look up to Davey because he's a great songwriter, and
he's an amazing songwriter.
Yeah.
Like when I was growing up, like I remember going to watch Beat Union, and I was literally like that. I was like, they was incredible. Like they absolutely blew the roof off. The songs were like poppy, but had like this punk sort of rock and roll edge, which I think has bled over into our band a little bit. And obviously recording with Davey, and I think we've had that influence as well. But when I first met him, like he was coming back to the UK. I think it was for Christmas to see his family.
Yeah, and
we were like, I think we were rehearsing in the middle of Birmingham at the time. And he was like, "Can I come to a rehearsal and obviously meet you guys?" And he came, and I was a bit like, I wasn't starstruck because I think it's always, you've just got to be yourself if you meet anyone sort of famous or someone who's in the industry. And we just played a couple of tunes, and we were just talking how we're talking now. It was just a nice sort of flowing conversation. And then by the end of it, he just said, "Do you want to come out to LA and do a record with me?" And we were like, "Let's do it." Sign on the dotted line sort of thing. Let's do it. And,
that was the winter. We had that practice. Like he was over visiting his family for Christmas. I think it was December time. And I said, "Look, come to a practice." And then next thing you know, 3 months later, was it 3 months later? Was it that quick? And we were
we recorded it in March. So
we recorded it in March.
What year was that? March 2018, 19? Or?
19 it was,
19, yeah.
So 2 years ago, you must be really itching to get like the whole thing out now, right?
Well, we got album number 2 is nearly done. So, it's basically written. We're just like sort of jamming it at the moment.
Right?
Yeah.
Did you have much? Obviously, you got the thumbs up from David to go out there. Did you have everything ready and the record kind of written and good to go, or was there like a furious attempt to throw some songs together?
Yeah, well, the way Davey was sort of working it, he said to me, just try and write something, or preferably a song every day, sort of leading up to it. And I think at the time we already had I'd probably say about 12 to 15 songs already written in our rehearsal room. So like, I think altogether we probably had about 30 to 40 songs. And obviously some songs would probably be like just a verse and a chorus. It wouldn't be sort of full. But he was just saying, just make the most of the time in between, like December and March to going out there. And we even wrote a song out there and recorded it sort of out there, just sort of brand new, which was great. It was a great experience just to sort of, write in the studio and just to lay everything down and get everything done out there. But there was quite a bit of pressure from our end, you know what I mean? Because we were sort of getting together like almost every day of the week just to get some stuff down and just to make the most of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man, it was incredible. Like we had such a good time, and you're right. We are itching to get it out. Obviously we recorded it in March 2019. It was ready by September 2019. We were going to release it just before the Social Distortion tour. Then the pandemic happened, so everything had to be put back. But like Jack said, we've been writing a load of new songs. So we're sort of, it's a bit annoying. Like we're still really proud of the album, and we're really excited for people to hear it. But when you're in a band, as soon as you've got a new song, you want people to hear that. Do you know what I mean? But
newer songs always feels like your best song, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But the way we've got to look at it is like this new album, all the songs are still new to everybody else. So.
I mean, did you ever consider at any point just getting it released? What was the decision to just hold out just because you wanted that big tour behind it?
Yeah, I think that's what it was, really. And it's just about being sensible,
support,
isn't it?
wasn't it, for like getting it pressed on vinyl and getting that, like, you know, that promotional support as well. So like we farmed it out to a lot of record companies and stuff as well. But obviously, just being an unsigned band, it's quite difficult. It's sort of like a shot in the dark. But then Wiretap Records from LA got in touch, and we started talking to those guys. And Rob is one of the best guys, and he was like helping us out loads. And so it's going to be released through Wiretap, which is great. And
that's good, man. They've got such a good roster, so I think it's a good label to be associated with. Sure.
Yeah, man.
I pre-ordered my vinyl this morning as well, actually.
Wicked, man. Nice one.
Nice one.
And I had a little chat with a guy called Dave because I wasn't sure if my order went through.
Yeah. So Dave runs all in Vinyl, who are like the UK sort of label that's putting it out. He's a really cool guy as well. We're really lucky, to be fair. Like, obviously, it's just nice to have someone putting the record out, because we could have put it out ourselves, but it just helps, like, having like a little bit of backing behind it. So yeah, we're really excited.
Nice. But you've released, is it just Family Man you released from that record? There's
Eye Roller, Horizons, and Family Man at the minute. Yeah. So, and then I can't. I don't know if we're doing any more. I think we're doing like one or two more, maybe one more.
And the reaction's been pretty good to those, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been wicked. It's been like Steve Lamacq. He's been playing. He played. I think he played all three, but he played Horizons and Family Man like on his. It wasn't like playlisted, but he played them like a few times, which is great because it's obviously really nice to get that sort of feedback from someone like Steve Lamacq, who, like, I listen to Radio 6 quite a lot as well, and then we had some airplay on Radio X as well, which was pretty cool. And then like there's been like some outlets in America as well, like Brooklyn Vegan have give us like a little review, so I think they dug it a little bit, which is great. And man, it's just these little steps just towards, you just got to keep picking away and just try and get a bite, as they say.
I mean, all three are decent songs, but like I think Family Man in particular is such a good pop song.
Cheers, man.
That's a hit. That's a hit right there.
Yeah.
I can really hear the sort of Beat Union vibes on that as well, on that chorus. It's just, I love it.
I think that was Davey's favourite as well, wasn't it, Christian?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
I
think it's mad actually, like, because me and Jack, I think I speak for most people in the band actually, like, we're all really into full albums as opposed to singles, and like I feel like it's very easy these days just to go like, just release. Don't worry about releasing an album. Just put every song out from the album as a single, because you get more press, you get more content. And I feel like I'm one of those people, like, I listen to a record and 9 times out of 10, the singles on the record, as great as they aren't as good as the other tracks that are album tracks. And but I love that though. I love hearing a record for the first time. And Family Man's an amazing song. I love it. I think it's one of the best. But there's even better songs on the record, I believe, that people aren't going to hear until they get their hands on the record. And I really like that. I think that's really important, because it's really easy these days just to go do 10 singles, do 10 pop songs or whatever. But myself, I'm very much like a record person. Like, album tracks, I think, always end up being, well, they call them album tracks in the industry, don't they? Always end up being better than the singles, in my opinion, anyway.
That's it. Yeah, like when we sat down and did like the track listing, we was always thinking like side A and side B, like always thinking about pressing it on a vinyl and always putting a vinyl record on a player and like just listening to a record. Because I think like the end goal for us is always to make like timeless sort of pop rock and roll is sort of the way I see it. And yeah, man, we're always thinking records instead of just a bunch of singles with a bit of filler. So yeah, man.
And I guess that's coming back in general as well now, isn't it? I mean, the digital era has kind of killed it off a little bit, because you don't get a CD out of a case and put it in a CD player anymore, and it's the accessibility of music that steers you away from listening to a record end to end. But this, I guess that the vinyl revival is definitely kind of on its way.
Yeah,
on its way.
100%. I mean,
Yeah.
I bet if I said to you guys, like, you know, name your favourite records, and you pick the singles off those records, I bet your favourite songs on that record aren't necessarily the singles. I don't know if it's just me being weird, but like London Calling by the Clash, the best songs on London Calling aren't the singles. There's loads of other great songs on there. Right. Do you know what I mean? That are better than the singles. And I really love that because it keeps it exciting. Because if you get a record and you've heard the 3 singles already and they're all the best songs on there, well, what the point of you? Why have you bought the record for then? So you can listen to 7 other okay songs? No, music's supposed to be like immersive and like you're supposed to enjoy the whole thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what you guys been up to then during your downtime? Just itching to get kind of going. Just jobs keeping you busy and stuff.
Yeah, like we just sort of made a decision that we'd stay productive as possible, and we've literally I've been writing so much. I've even got like stuff here, just like literally every single day. I'm like just jotting stuff down, just trying to, even if it's just like song titles, just writing them down. But luckily with technology nowadays, we can, you know, we've just been doing demos as well, like just been sending files to each other and you know, ideas and stuff. And then because we're releasing like music as well this year leading up to the album release, we're sorting out like artwork and on that kind of stuff. So it's always been productive, I think, like, because where we want to be when this pandemic's over, we just want to be smashing tours and being the best band, like live band we can be. So it's just been, because we all really believe in this band, and I know like a lot of people say it, but I think music comes around in circles, and I think if people want rock and roll again, I think we'll be the band to like one of them bands at the forefront that could potentially bring it back. And I truly believe that, man. And that's just not me being up my own arse, but I just think like I just want to get on tour and just tell people about this band and get these songs out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, as words of encouragement, like going back to Family Man again, like, you know, I've played it to people who, you know, aren't into the kind of music that we broadly cover on this podcast or whatever, and like people just, you know, immediately drawn to that song.
All day, but I should wash my people, carry all of my duties, class my yard up to die. I won't miss anything. I'm a family man, nice to meet you. Come and shake my hand. I'll do all I can just to please you. I'm a family man.
When you've got like 6 music airplay as well, that's got to be seriously encouraging for you guys, right? I mean, how did that come about? How did Lamac end up kind of getting hold of it?
Basically, just being persistent and firing a load of emails off to radio DJs and saying, if you don't play this, you're missing out, not us. We did. Yeah, we just sent a load of emails, and you know, you just hope that you get lucky with one of them. You chuck a load of stuff at a wall, and you hope something sticks. And luckily, with that and a few other things, it stuck. But again, like, it's down to the music as well, though. Like, if you ain't got the songs, you're going to struggle, ain't you? And
yeah, of course.
So if you got half decent songs, you're halfway there. But in terms of being productive and everything during this whole time as well, like, we've been demoing it. Basically, like, Chino, our guitarist, has got loads of cool recording gear, and every time we go into the room, there's mics everywhere, so everything is always recorded to a really high standard. So we've managed to do quite a few demos. Obviously all socially distanced with masks and stuff, but we'd go in, like, do drums, get that recorded properly, and then we've got the means to layer everything on top as if we were like recording a proper album. But obviously without the great production skills. But to get some decent demos down. So that's what we've been doing for the most part. So it's been shit not being able to tour and stuff. and do shows. But it's just one of those things. You just got to sort of ride it out, ain't you?
Yeah. Do you guys all live quite near each other then?
Yes. So Jack's like North Birmingham. I'm South Birmingham. Chino's South Birmingham.
And Marcus is South as well, eh? Yeah. It's like where we rehearse is a little place in Birmingham called Digbeth. I don't know if you know Digbeth, but it's like sort of like the centre of town, and then we're like sort of 10 miles opposite sides. So it's just like our middle hub where we get together. But
cool. Just sounds like you're so far ahead. You just need to catch up with the tour inside, I guess. Really,
that's it.
It's the plan to take all the kind of demo stuff you demo and putting together. I mean, would you be looking to go back out and see Davey and work with Davey on that stuff?
For sure, yeah. I think we're just going to see what happens. Like, as soon as things open up, we're going to try and do as many shows as possible. Like Jack said, like Jack's brilliant in terms of just like writing great songs and having great ideas and bringing them to a rehearsal room, and something special just happens. Think like it sort of just blossoms, and we're sort of ready for it to open up and be able to do what we want to do, like play shows and do another record as well in America, hopefully. So
are you guys all in a position just to kind of put things down at home and go and do that then when the time's right?
Yeah, man. Like, well, me and Christian both work for ourselves. I'm a graphic designer, freelance, and Christian's got his own picture framing shop. And then, as soon as like the tours come around, everything sort of dropped, and we're all committed to go. Which I love about this band. It's never been, any sort of complications really. And I think because we all believe in it that much, it's like the train's got to keep on going. It can't stop. And I think we've just got to say yes to everything and do everything and just commit to it, man, and just work hard and just see where it takes us.
That's great that you all kind of have that mentality, for sure. Because as you get older, like being in band does get harder, that kind of stuff.
It does, but I remember like Chino, like last week, he just said, like, I think the main goal is just to keep it really fun and just really enjoy what we're doing. And we've got this formula now where I can bring in a song, because I always write on an acoustic anyway, just so, because I know if it sounds good on an acoustic, if I take it to like 3 rock and rollers, it's going to take it up another 10 levels. So I always bring a song on acoustic, and then we've got this formula where like Chino will just like bring a lick, and it just kind of all works. And because we're all sort of into it and really believe in it, like we take it away and work on it, and with WhatsApp and stuff, we put our little notes down and change little bits, and it's just really, really fun, just like being in a band with all these guys. And I'm like proper blessed to like have them, and because sometimes I can be a nightmare with like changes, saying, "Oh, can we change this? Can we change that? Can we change that?" No, that don't sound right. But yeah, it's like we're all just going towards the same goal. You know what I mean? We just believe in this band and believe in these songs, and we all think it should be like for the masses to enjoy, not just like 4 of us.
Forgive me if I've got this wrong. Did you have some tours dates booked with Hell's Ditch, or had you already done them before the pandemic, or was it?
We had some booked, and then the pandemic happened, so that was just before the Social Distortion tour. Yeah, that was like, again, that was going to be really cool because we've crossed paths with those guys before, and they're really nice and they're a cool band.
Yeah, they've all been in different bands and stuff. Yeah, like because I know Chris a little bit, and I forget the guy's name. The guy who used to sing for River Jumpers, because I played with him a few times. But like Chris is always reaching out to us, and like we played their stuff on our show and that. But they're cool. It's
like Jack says, like we love doing what we do, like playing music. Like we've all played our instruments from a really young age, and obviously, if you're doing it for the right reasons, which is to we play because we love doing it and we want to have fun, but we also want more people to hear our music because everyone if you're doing music and you don't want people to hear it, then what's the point? That's the whole reason you do shows, isn't it? So
cool. Well, some of our listeners have definitely heard some of your music. I don't know if Chris mentioned, but we did at the start of the year. We did an episode with a guy called J Mass, who was in a band called Defeater, I think, an old Epitaph band. Yeah. And it was like our first episode of the year, and we did like a top 5 tracks of 2020 basically, and we kind of walked down from 5 to 1 and me and Chris didn't actually know what we were, we didn't tell each other beforehand, and we got to one, and both of us had chosen Family Man as our top
Nice
track
one,
of
lads.
2020. So
Well, I'll give you that. You've got good taste, boys. You've got good
there you
taste.
go.
That's amazing. Now like I said before, that song's so fun to play as well, man. And yeah, it's just like Jack, you've said before, actually. You really like Paul Weller from the Jam. Like his sort of lyrics are always like sort of social commentary, and that's sort of the same sort of vibe with Family Man.
I think it's like sort of telling a story, but putting like a little bit of yourself into it, but coming from like an experience. Like it's literally about one of my best mates, and it's just seeing like that change of, having a kid and starting a family, and like what becomes important now, like paying the mortgage and, getting on that holiday and stuff and saving for it, and just little bits like that. And then you just make it kind of cool when I say like washing the people carrier and stuff. He doesn't even have a people carrier, but just the general sort of that's the vision that I've got. But it's like, I don't know, it's just a weird thing, songwriting, because I do write from experience, but then I put a little bit of like cheekiness and a bit of like myself, like my sarcasm and stuff in there as well.
We talked about that, Chris, didn't we, in the sense, and I guess everything else we'd heard throughout the year was, I guess a lot of it was coming out of kind of America, and we talked about that song being very just kind of relatable for like us and people that get like our age around us. I mean, we're both in our kind of late 30s now, so it was just nice to like hear something that was just was a bit normal, like from
you know what, that really hits as well for me, because I think like for me, I like political bands, I like bands who sing about all sorts of things, but for me, music has always for me been a retreat from something, like a way to sort of separate myself from all the chaos that's going on, and a way to just not have to worry about anything. Do you know what I mean? And like a song like Family Man can be that so easily to so many people because it's so relatable. Like anyone can relate to it almost. And I like that. And I think timeless bands are really good at that. Like I listen to Tom Petty or The Replacements, even Green Day. Like I can listen to that, and it just takes me away. And it's like that's what I want from music. I don't want to be lectured to. I don't want to. There's a time and place for it. Don't get me wrong. Like, but for me, it's all about just being able to retreat from the chaos and enjoy yourself and just let go for a minute. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hopefully we can do that with our songs. So,
well, I mean, what can we expect from the rest of kind of Primary Colours then? On top of the stuff that you've already released, without giving too much away.
Yeah, man. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised, because like some of the songs, like keeping within sort of like the rock and roll kind of idea. There's some that are like sort of like less pacey, but have like a bit more groove to it. And like the self-titled song Primary Colours, like you're gonna love that. It's like literally just rock and roll, and it's proper relatable about sort of wanting to get to like another place, like a better place, sort of in life. It sounds a little bit cheesy, but like, but again, it's like sort of pop sing-along rock and roll that like in the summer it'll be perfect to like just blast it in your car and just like just enjoy it, you know what I mean? It's a really like positive album, like a lot of it's like really melodic as well, and just something like an album of hope, really. That's what I'd sort of see it as.
I describe it as like like in old 80s movies, and like you're cruising down in a classic car, and you're going down like the coast with your friends, and you've got the tunes blasted full blast. You've got your volume turned up to 11, and you just feel amazing, and you're with your pals or your girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah, it's like a gang in it, like being with your gang and just enjoying, like growing up and being in like the moment sort of thing.
It's exactly that. It's a soundtrack to a summer, and again, that's another reason I'm sort of glad we held back releasing it, because if we released it in winter just for the sake of putting it out there, or in autumn, it wouldn't have hit the same. I don't think you'll see when it comes out, like especially songs like Primary Colours and that. Yeah, it will.
Yeah, and I think as well, like recording it in LA. There's like obviously there's just like a vibe there, and like I had to like pinch myself and think, friggin' hell, I'm in Orange County in LA doing a record, and like you look outside and there's palm trees and Cadillacs everywhere, and at Hurley Studios,
yeah.
And it was just like it just felt really positive, and like we'd go out on the nights and speak to like local Californians, and I just felt like it was like proper rock and roll, and I'm in a band and I'm from England and I'm in LA doing a record, and it comes out in the recording like it's so, I don't know, we just gave it everything, but as I say, it's like positive hope, and yeah, man, can't wait for you to hear it.
You can almost smell the palm trees when you listen to the record.
That's going a bit too far, mate. Freaking hell. But yeah, I think it would have been a lot different if we recorded it in the UK. I think because like it was easy sort of to like come away from it, whereas being there and being sort of in it, you're in like this little bubble, and it's all you can sort of focus on, and yeah, it was just like really fun as well. Like we had so much fun doing it.
Nice, yeah. No, really looking forward to hearing it. The random question I was going to ask before. So like both of you being in previous bands, sort of in the Birmingham and UK scene, and like saying, your frustrations with the UK scene and stuff. I just wonder, like, those years playing in bands, like, because like we're kind of from that scene as well, playing in bands ourselves. Like, who've been like some of your favorites? So this is just out of interest to me. How much our listeners in America were, because most of our listeners are in America, but like how much that'll pique their interest. But like, I'm just curious because
what sort of like bands that like we've played with, or just sort of bands growing up listening to? Or?
Like who? No, that you've played with, and maybe done tours with back in the day and stuff. Like ones who might have lasted or haven't and deserved to, just like who've stood out to you over the years.
I don't mind going first. I remember seeing a band called Tribes years ago. I don't know if anyone knows them, but I think that they did a show on top of like this shop in Camden. I remember being all over YouTube when I was growing up, and I was thinking, man, that they sound proper cool. And yeah, I went and saw them in Birmingham, and I was like just blown away. I just thought, I was quite young as well, so like I was just looking at them as like these proper rock stars, and I really enjoyed their show. And then there's a band called the Holloways. I don't know if you remember the Holloways.
Yeah.
Based in London, but they had like this punky sort of Frank Turner rock and roll vibe, but then they had like violins as well, and like these mad like instruments that they bring, and it was just something a little bit different. But it was one of them shows where it was really face to face, and everyone was sort of together in it, and we're going to get through this hour and like get sweaty and dance and jump around, and it was just wicked. And they had a few decent tunes. There was one called Generator, which was played sort of all over like media, like on adverts and stuff. But there was just a wicked live band. I just think like now it's so rare to get like a really good live band that like you sort of think, I want to invest in this. I want to go to another show. I want to buy the record. I want to buy the T-shirt. But yeah, that's just like a couple of bands that sort of spring to my mind. But what are yours, Christian?
I don't know really. I can't really think of any from those like that when we used to do shows together, other than your old band. Like I really enjoyed watching you guys play. I mean, in terms of like these days, I really like Bad Nerves. I think Bad Nerves are a really cool band from London.
Okay.
Yeah, we've played with them a few times, haven't we?
Yeah, they're really cool.
Really good guys, and just so like electric, man. Like you watch them play, and like they're so tight as well. Because I think just a lot of the time they just play live shows all over Europe and the UK and stuff. And just really humble, down to earth, and just love that. That was eighths on the hi hat, and it's just like whoa. But like they do it really well, and it's man.
I think they're sort of coming from the same place as us as well, in terms of like it's solely about having fun, and it's about rock and roll, and they're not trying to sound like, people could say they sound like the Ramones or whatever, but they're not. I find a lot of bands these days are going out of their way to sound like the new era of, I don't know, American punk bands, but they're from England, which is cool, fine. Do you think that's fine? But it's not authentic to me.
Yeah, I always find that frustrating. I mean that's why, like you guys, you can it sounds so English, in bands I've been in. I always want the singer to sound English, because like you've seen like English and Welsh bands do well, like out the punk or pop punk scenes, but they just put on these American accents. I find it so frustrating. I found this new band last week, like just bog standard pop punk, but really catchy. And I was like, they're cool. And then it turns out they're not American, they're Welsh, and it just put me right off them. I'm like, that's so, the accent's so funny.
I had a real thing back in like 2009, 2010. There was an explosion of these. I'm not going to shit talk people, but there was an explosion of like these bands from South Wales who were proclaiming to be punk rock or rock and roll or whatever. They couldn't be further from it. Honestly, like it was. Right. I remember calling South Wales like the new Southern California because that's where they thought they were. Yeah. It was just a joke. There was so many. Yeah. To me, it's just not authentic, and that's why those bands lasted all of 5 minutes. Do you know what I mean? Because people saw through it in the end. So
that's it, isn't it? Even if they have good songs, it's just
Yeah, and that's an actual thing that we've said in the studio recording. Like, I've never wanted to, even though I love, like, I think the majority of the bands I love are American bands, but I've always like been sort of humble to be like, I want to still sound like me. I don't want to like
imitate,
come away from that. You know what I mean? Even if it's like I think the general vibe of the record is quite Americana-y, like with like the mixing and stuff.
Right.
But I think in terms of like vocals and like lyrics and stuff as well, I think it's really sort of down to earth, and black country is where I'm from.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's it. And I think coming back to what you said, Chris, like about sort of like we've been playing now. I've been playing in bands since I was like 13 now, and obviously been around like the Birmingham scene a lot, and a lot of bands have like come and gone, and like those bands who were sort of doing that pop punk thing as sort of like a fad, whereas I'm 31 now, and like I'm still going at it because I love it, and I know like what I'm doing is like sort of it's me. It's not like I'm not trying to be anyone else now, and I think it's important. Like, you've got to do the graft, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying like give me a record here now because I've been playing like for 20 years, but I'm just saying like I think it's important to be true and just be yourself, man, because that's what people are gonna invest in. You know what I mean? Like our live shows, I'm always like sort of being a little bit sarcastic or like cracking jokes and stuff, because that's who we are. Like, I'm not gonna come on stage and be like, "Hi guys, we're Lovebreakers." It's not us, you know what I mean? It's like it's a hard thing to sort of describe. But.
And I guess a lot of those bands are literally just trying to fit a mold for like a label, to like your Hopeless or whoever, fit that pop punk, kind of tick that box, make them marketable in that way, I guess, really.
And that's the difference between timeless music, like the Replacements, Tom Petty, Green Day, The Clash, bands who you put on now and they still sound, their records from 20 years ago still sound amazing, the songs still sound great. And the difference between a band who 1 minute they want to be emo core or pop punk, and then the next minute they want to be hardcore, then the next minute they're all of a sudden all big fans of the Damned. No, you're not. Just you know what I mean.
I remember, Chris, you used to pull me up from time to time because I used to sing in a band with Chris. This was like almost 20 years ago. Day, 15, 20 years ago. Yeah. And if I ever started to like kind of go into an American like pronunciation of something, he was straight on it straight away. He's like, what are you doing?
Fair play.
You sound too American. Stop that.
Fair play to you, man. That's awesome.
So whereabouts did you grow up, Chris and Nick? Like where did you guys grow up?
So basically, I'm from Brighton originally, but I moved up to the northeast, just near Newcastle when I was 11, which, as you might be able to tell from Nick's accent, that's where he's from. So that's where we know each other from, because I lived there. I'm in London now, but I lived there for years.
That's awesome. Great band from Brighton, the Ordinary Boys. We love that band.
Oh yeah, well, I used to. So I was living back in Brighton again. I went back to Brighton for uni. So this is like around 01, 02. So I knew them when they were starting up, and like there was a whole bunch of us who were all friends. They're all in bands, and when before like the Big Brother days and stuff, when Sam was just called Sam, not Preston. Yeah. Although he's gone on to do really well as a songwriter, because he writes for all sorts of huge pop stars.
I think he's wrote some stuff for Ollie Murs, hasn't he? And he sort of took like a backseat from being in a band. But the Ordinary Boys, man, what a band back in the day! I remember like watching them on like T4 on the beach, and I was like, "Fuck, these are cool."
No, yeah, absolutely. But it's funny, before they blew up, like, so when I knew them, like when they were just around the Brighton scene, they were, it was kind of like a pop punk emo band that they were. Like, like I remember that they opened up for Midtown when Midtown came over, and it was just the right fit and stuff. And then all of a sudden they changed their sound.
Yeah, they went to the moddy thing, didn't they? Like the but that first record though, like I still to this day, that record to me is punk as anything. It's more punk than half of the punk that's come out of America in that sort of era. Honestly, like it is so like it's just rock and roll, like, and so raw, and that, yeah, it's brilliant. I love that record, and it's timeless, really good.
You know, we've been going a little while now, so I reckon we could probably wrap this up soon, Nick, unless there's anything we've left out. But like before we do that, guys, is it cool if we just ask just a couple of kind of broad questions?
Cool, man. Yeah, go for it.
No.
All right, we'll leave it there.
Fire away. What do you want to know? Or do you want to know?
Right, so
you're going to regret this.
This feels like a weird question because, like, so I was going to say, like, what for both of you, it would be your dream tour. You're touring with two other bands, but like, you guys already got a tour book with fucking Social Distortion. If someone asked me like what my dream tour would be, that would be definitely a contender for.
You go first, Jack. Go on.
Oh, I don't know. I've got to think. I'm thinking on the spot here, but
Chris, are you allowing like alive and dead?
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, let's make it even more complicated and say, yeah, you can have dead artists as well.
Dead artists as well. Oh man. See, I'm just like reaching for the stars here, but someone like absolutely iconic British should be like Queen or something, and just be like, let's go and do a world tour with Queen. But that blows away though, so it's got to be like we've got to be good as well and look good because like against Queen, you've got to be absolutely insane. I don't know, man. I think it's really difficult. I need some more thinking time.
Okay. For me, it'd probably be Green Day. That would be the one because obviously you get to play arenas and that they do like a 3-hour live show, and it'd just be amazing to watch every night. So be them, and yeah, definitely Social Distortion as well. Like obviously that's happening anyway, but yeah, that's like when we got that email through. Honestly, I think it was about 11:30 at night because it was their US booking agent. I think emailed us. I was jumping round. I think my neighbours must have been thinking.
Surprised.
I was going,
I would have
oh my
been.
god, fuck, we're going to go on tour with Social D. This is awesome.
Real quick, Christian, what was it when you toured with them years ago? Did you get to what? I mean, you know, I know that's a broad question, but like, did you get to interact with them much?
Yeah. Because it was quite a long tour. You do, and like they were just really hospitable to us. I remember we were touring in a really cramped van, and a lot of the nights because they had tour buses and hotels, they decided to stay on their tour buses and give us their hotel rooms, and they had really nice hotels.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so okay. That shows you the sort of people that they are. So yeah. Yeah, go on, Jack. Who you got, mate? Come on.
I'm gonna say the Who.
Yeah,
like,
nice.
Those sort of songs to me.
Another band you covered. When
I first got into really getting into the guitar, like Pete Townsend, I was just looking into like his tone and all his gear and stuff. And I just love their songs, man. Like all the earlier stuff as well, like the 60s stuff. And I just think playing shows with them would be insane. And I think, as you say, like you're playing with someone who you love and you get to see every night. And so I'm going to say the Who.
Yeah, man. Good choices there.
Nice.
But yeah, I was just going to say, so album's released in April. Yep. Apparently I'm going to get it 2 weeks early, according to Dave this morning. So I don't know if you know about that, but...
I didn't know about that. No, we have to be having words with him.
The vinyl pre-orders apparently might be coming out a little bit early, which is cool.
If it leaks, we know who that is, then, don't we?
Yeah.
But what's the situation with the Social D tour? How many dates you got? And I guess for me, how far north are you coming on that tour?
I don't know if we can say, can we, Jack? I don't know.
Well, we can say that it's been rescheduled and it's still happening.
Yeah.
And then we can probably say that we're doing like 3 or 4 dates in the UK.
Okay.
And the rest will be Europe.
I think the UK dates, it's 2 in Manchester and 2 in London, isn't it, though? It's 2 in Manchester, 2 in London, yeah.
2 in Manchester. Or it might be 1 in Manchester and 3 in London, maybe.
Yeah. I think they might add one, yeah.
Is it? We're still at this point. It's still rescheduled for July, right?
Yeah, but I think looking at the state of things, it wouldn't surprise me if it's put back another year. But they're definitely not going to cancel it. I know that.
Yeah. Fingers crossed it is this July, but obviously, have to see how things go.
Yeah, man, definitely.
Cool. Did you have any other questions, Chris?
I was just.
See, I thought these questions were going to be like bath or shower, chocolate or vanilla.
We did used to do that, didn't we, Nick? It was our little quick fire round we did with guests. That kind of.
Yeah, we're not that well prepared, unfortunately.
No, I was just curious, like what you've both been listening to recently. That's something we don't really ask guests that much these days. So
yeah, mate,
might as well get that one in before we wrap it up.
Go for it, Jack.
Bad Nerves, who we mentioned previously, they released their record. I think it was a couple of months back now. So I've been spinning that quite a bit. Been listening to a lot of Tom Petty, just because I'm in sort of like songwriting mode at the moment. So I'm just sort of not noting down like structures from like sort of all the stuff that I like. I listened to a bit of Catfish and the Bottlemen last week. That's about it, really. It's quite just sort of like timeless stuff.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm just looking on my Spotify recently played there. Last thing I listened to was this morning, and it was Graceland by Paul Simon, and then Daydream by Culture Abuse, great record, and then Jamie T, the first record, Kings and Queens. That's what I've been listening to in the past few days. So yeah, it's all stuff that's been out for a while, to be fair. Nothing new's really caught me at the moment. So
yeah. I've just uploaded mine. I've got Best Coast, California Nights.
Yeah, man.
If you know that record, that's a really cool record.
Yeah.
Then I've got The Greatest Game with Jamie Carragher. Listening to podcasts with Jamie Carragher. Just to get me through the day.
You're a Liverpool fan then?
No, I'm actually an Aston Villa fan. But like he does this podcast where he speaks to like ex-professionals and loads of different sort of ex-footballers, which is quite cool to listen to. But yeah, that's it, man.
There's some really cool bands. There's a really cool band coming out of America at the minute who were friends with Ghost in the Willow. He's quite cool. He's got some good songs. Other than that, the stuff I've just mentioned really is the stuff I've been listening to. Yeah. So
how have you guys been keeping yourself kind of entertained during lockdown anyway, outside of just going for walks and
have you got Call of Duty?
No, I'm not a big gamer.
There's my answer.
There you go. Right, okay.
Christian's a massive Xbox fod. He's just on it. If he could play Xbox 24 hours a day, he would. But with me, man, I've just I've got like a puppy. She's like 1 year old now, but she needs walking twice a day, so we walk quite a lot.
Walking, that's about it right now, isn't it? But hopefully things are going to change a little bit. What's the situation with like getting together as a band and stuff? I mean, in the next, like with the whole tier, like the step changes, like practicing and stuff like that.
We weren't really supposed to be, was we? To be fair, Jack, but what we've been demoing and stuff, and we just sort of
being logical about it, really, like keeping our distance, but meeting up now and again when we can, if we're doing like something that we think we need to do, like a few demos, if we're just tracking some guitars or whatever. But a lot of it really has just been sort of doing it from home. So like we've all got Logic that we can just put stuff down on. I've got like a little setup at home where I can just lay down some vocals and stuff. So I think we've done like 6 new songs, and then I've got another 4 or 5 that are written at the moment. So we just got to get in the room when we can and get everything down, and then start demoing them as well.
Yeah,
and
man.
then try and tour your first album for your first record.
And then go backwards in time to what we recorded nearly 2 years ago. But as I say, like, I think we're in this mindset now that like a lot of people haven't heard it, and we've just got to play the songs to the best and make the live shows as best as they can and fun and, you know, sort of engaging, and then go from there.
Well,
but
you
I think
have some new ones to throw in that you've been writing that you can actually guide you in terms of which ones you take forward, I guess, really a little bit.
Yeah, and I think with lockdown, I've been watching a lot of live shows from like the early 90s and the 2000s, and it's like I want to play like sort of more faster stuff, and I think that'll be the next thing that we're going to be writing, a little bit something more in your face and a bit more quick, just for those live shows, just to pick them up a little bit. But we'll wait and see, because usually when I say that, I'll write like a ballad.
Cool. Well, we could let you crack on if Chris, unless you got anything else you want to.
Yeah, no, I think we should wrap things up. Like, massive thank you to both of you for doing this. It's been really cool.
It's been really fun. Yeah, thanks for asking us. Like, this was really cool. It's the first podcast we've ever done. You took our podcast for
There you go.
So.
We had a
wow,
four-way as well, you know.
I know, yeah. Bucket list.
That is a big way to go on a virginity. 4-way.
There you go. Right, well, I look forward to seeing you soon, I think.
Yeah, well, hopefully I'll see you boys in July, Shepherd's Bush.
Yeah, man. We'll hang out.
Cool, man.
Bye.
See you later, man.
Nice
Bye.
one, boys.
Nice one, boys.
Take
Cheers.
care.
Let's raise a toast to some memories I love. Drink to elation for this duration, never being free. But my friends say things to me like I want my 20s to last forever. Wear my skinny jeans, be like a libertine. Quit this city, start this weather. Where's my souvenir? Where's my side of home? All our bodies will change. More on the hips, less on the lips. I'm over it. Still my friends say things to me like I want my 20s to last forever. Wear my skinny jeans, be like a libertine. Quit this city, start this weather. Where's my souvenir? Where's my side of home? Embrace these fires and shadows as well. Horizons will tell me why. No need to run from time. I want my 20s to last forever. Wear my skinny jeans, be like a libertine. Quit this city, start this weather. Where's my souvenir? Where's my side of home? Embrace these fires and shadows as well. Horizons will tell me why. No need to run from time. 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 No need to run from.
Thank you for listening. If you liked what you heard, we'd love it if you could subscribe to us wherever you get your podcast, whether that's iTunes or Spotify or Stitcher or anywhere like that. Also, check us out on social media. If you just search for Wasting Time Podcast on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, give us a like or a follow on any of those. And also, we love hearing from listeners as well. So Feel free anytime to drop us an email at thewastingtimepodcast@gmail.com, or obviously you can message us on social media as well. But yeah, we'll catch you next time.